Hey, what's up? It's Alex. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. What is up, guys? Ow. Welcome to the Short News Podcast. It's raining out, so if you hear that behind me, I am so sorry. I don't own a studio. Like I said, this is the Short News Podcast where we talk about the news for a short time. Things are changing around here, if you haven't noticed. We have a theme song now, or should, if I remember to put it in. And we're following a little different of a format now. So, the short news is going to be strictly news-related things for a short amount of time. I think that is the right direction to take this show because it's titled The Short News. What am I doing, right? We get rid of all that other shit then. What is all the other bullshit? Well, there's a place for that now. For the relationship advice, the conspiracies, just me talking and ranting about random things going on in my life and yours. You know, a podcast called The Short News is not the place for that. It's never made sense. So, I'm announcing something today. Starting now with this episode, The Short News is going to be much shorter. And it's only going to be news. Sure, I'll probably add a little bit of commentary in there, just to inject my own personal feelings about things, or I'll try not to. I don't know, we'll test out both, see what works. But, sorry, got interrupted there for a second, but, the short news is going to be news, I was saying. Not much more. And where is all the other stuff going to go, you may ask? What about the majority of the show's content, the stories and stupidity, the commercials, the little bits, the conspiracies, the gossip, the going-ons of the internet's relationship advice, Reddit, all of that, where is that going to go? Well, I thought to myself, why would people go to a news podcast for all of this other useless garbage that I'm talking about? And then I had a light bulb go off in my head. I'll start a second podcast and call it Useless Garbage. So I did that. I did it. And I'm going to have to figure out the schedule, how these things work. But right now, I'm going to set it up so that I do the short news first, and Useless Garbage comes out either the same day or the day after, as kind of like a after the news type thing. Think of it like the way The Talking Dead is to The Walking Dead. It's the post show, the after show. So Useless Garbage. Let's talk about what that's going to be like. Because, I'm going to have to move everything over. This is a big transition, but I think it's more confusing to have a podcast called The Short News and be not doing the news, or having it mostly be something other than the news. It's misleading, and I'm sure we've lost some people because they're not getting their news. What? What are you saying? What do you want? What? I don't know if you guys heard my cat, but she needs attention. So all the fun stuff is going to be moved over to useless garbage. So go ahead and add useless garbage to your podcast lineup. Whatever app you're using to listen to this, just go ahead and add useless garbage. Come on, please. Pretty please. We'll test it out and see how it works. Hopefully it goes well. You can find the podcast for now on Spotify or at anchor.fm/uselessgarbage. So go ahead and check that podcast out, because that is where the majority of non-news related content is going to be migrating over to. So if you don't want news and you want the other content that you come here for, skip this episode and go search on Spotify useless garbage and continue from there. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, it is Monday, April 13th, 2020. I have lost track of the number of days that we've been quarantined, but it has been definitely more than 3 weeks now, right? When did we start? It's the cool thing about text messages. You can look back to your earliest ones. Definitely more than 3 weeks. I hope everybody has been staying sane as best they can, covering your face, whether it be with an N95 mask, a mask, or just a scarf, whatever it is. Be mindful of touching your face, touching other people, keeping that social distance of, what do they say, 6 feet? Anyways, let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, so here's what we need to know, according to the New York Times. So just now, a sailor assigned to the aircraft carrier Theodore Roosevelt has died of complications stemming from the coronavirus, which is the first death of a crew member from the ship of this pandemic. A study involving chloroquine is stopped over concerns of fatal heart conditions. So chloroquine was the drug that the president was plugging for a while, saying it does wonders and it's going to solve all the problems of the coronavirus, because it worked with malaria? He touts it as this miracle drug, but apparently there's really negative side effects that they are taking into consideration now, and they're not even continuing with the study. And I know just off the top of my head, over the last few days, I've been seeing a lot still about the struggle to get the right, a good amount of equipment, like PPE, personal protective equipment, for the healthcare professionals that are out there saving lives and risking their own. There's doctors out there right now wearing garbage bags, and because they don't have the proper gear. I saw a story about a hospital worker who he 3D prints in his free time, and he decided to help out in making face shields for his hospital, because they don't have enough supplies. They're literally relying on volunteers. That really says something about the federal government, that all the PPE they had was expired and breaking down, and they had so much time to prepare for this, to get more, prior to all of this happening. And there's a picture of Brooklyn, everything closed. Wow. Yeah, that is what it's like. I went outside yesterday. I was talking about this in the other podcast. I went for a little walk. I did today too, but it's a really crappy weather day today, but both days, empty streets. It's like I Am Legend out there. My cat is attacking my hand, but playfully. Susie, you want to read the news? Ow, ow, ow. Here, say something. No, she won't talk. She'll never snitch. So it is, though, really nice to see that there are people stepping up to help make PPE. I applaud those people. Susie's doing a little clap too. Donald Trump apparently retweeted somebody's tweet that said, "Time to fire Fauci," as he rejected criticism of his slow initial response to the pandemic that has now killed more than 22,000 Americans. Fauci only said what, was the facts, which was if we acted faster on this, if we were more proactive about the situation, then 22,000 people in our country may be still alive right now. Somebody doesn't like the facts. You Republicans, can we just you guys are always talking about facts and logic, and facts don't care about your feelings. How about this fact? If the president had acted when we all knew about this virus as an issue, even though it was just in Wuhan, if he had acted during that time, would we or would we not be in a better situation? If they got enough PPE in preparation for this, stocked up for the hospitals and the federal, whatever it is, the reserve that they have, the stockpile, if they had beefed that up right before, we wouldn't have doctors in garbage bags. The healthcare system was not ready. Our government was not ready. I hate people who put the American flag in their Twitter name. All that shows me is that you're a hyper-patriotic ass. You know what? I'm gonna make my Twitter name Alex Mador with the pointing finger going into the OK sign. Yeah. Susie, you're hitting the mic. Stop recording. Pay attention to me. So here's some other news having to do with the coronavirus. Smithfield Foods said Sunday that its plant in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, one of the nation's largest pork processing facilities, would remain closed indefinitely at the urging of the governor and mayor after 293 workers tested positive for coronavirus. So this plant, it employs 3,700 people, produces about 130 million servings of food per week, is responsible for half of the state's total number of cases. Damn. So a lot of people in that town are employed at this production plant, and half of the cases in that town are from people who work in that factory. So they have to close. It sucks, but they have to. What, they're gonna send infected meat out to the public? No. This is better. It sucks, but this is better than the alternative. Meat production workers are often work elbow to elbow, cleaning and deboning products in large open areas filled with hundreds of people. Halting of production so it follows the halting of production at several other poultry and meat plants across the country, as workers have fallen ill with COVID-19. So this is a big issue for the carnivores out there. And Smithfield's chief executive warned that the closures were threatening the U.S. meat supply. The shuttered plant produces about 4% to 5% of the country's pork. That is a big chunk for one company. And then there's also other plants that are closing other than Smithfield. So the United States meat supply, I would assume, is pretty limited. Get your McDonald's cheeseburgers while you can. I know I will. Because I don't know how much longer we're going to have meat. And then once the meat supply runs out, everyone's going to be a vegetarian. Maybe that's what they want. Ooh, conspiracies. Coming up next on Useless Garbage. I'm going to keep plugging that podcast. Seriously, go check it out. It's great. After this. So yeah, he continued by saying it's impossible to keep our grocery stores stocked if our plants are not running. Exactly. So be mindful when you go grocery shopping that the supplies are going to be limited very soon. Also, I heard that the stimulus checks that we are getting. If you make under 77K or under 70K, I don't know the exact number, but the stimulus checks should be starting to go out. I'm hoping that's the case. I don't know who that was, what fake news told me that, but I'm checking my bank right now. Nope, I don't have it. Thanks, Trump. So this just in, my stimulus check is not here. So I'm guessing nobody else has it either. If you set up direct deposit for your tax return, they're saying that then you should get it easily through direct deposit that way. But damn, I don't know when that's going to be. Let's look it up. Let's find out. Okay, here we go. The IRS is now depositing coronavirus stimulus checks. Here's what you need to know. You may already have the money in your bank account, or you may not see it for weeks. Here's how you can track the payment. A $1,200 deposit was likely a surprise for those who received it a few days earlier than expected. By Wednesday, April 15th, tens of millions of Americans should have received their checks. IRS, where's my money? So yeah, watch your bank account, see if your stimulus check comes in. I'm gonna see if there's a way to track it, like this site says. The people who are getting theirs first are the ones who filed tax returns in 2018 or 2019 and received funds through direct deposit. So I should be getting the money first. The IRS is creating a web portal where, so the official site to check your payment status doesn't come out until mid-April. That's within a matter of days. It's the 13th. We have a couple days for those checks to start coming to us who filed our taxes online through direct deposit. So yeah, again, as long as the IRS has your bank info and you're in the system, you should just get it electronically. So that's your $1,200 right there. That helps for like a couple weeks. They ought to be doing that for families every month. Oh, Trump just tweeted half an hour ago, I am working hard to expose the corruption and dishonesty in the lamestream media. That part is easy. The hard part is why. Why in all caps. Somebody I know just posted a TikTok. Not funny. You ever does anybody have those friends that they very obviously peaked in high school when they were trying so hard to party and give off this image? But since they peaked in high school and still live in your hometown and didn't move on with their lives or do anything, and now they're trying to stay relevant, and now they're marketing themselves to kids on TikTok? No? Just me having that problem with people I know? Okay. Well, it's a thing, and you guys peaked in high school. Like that Hoodie Allen song. Like when I use TikTok, I don't take it seriously at all whatsoever. And there's people out there like this one girl I know who she cut her hair like an e-boy, and she's doing the put her hands together type thing, like the hey girl. And it's like, what are you doing? We're 23. You know who uses TikTok? 15-year-olds. You're trying to look appealing for them? Sorry, it's gross. You can hear more about that on my new podcast, Useless Garbage. Again, this is not a joke. The reason this episode is going to be so much shorter is because I have a show now called Useless Garbage. Look it up on Spotify. It's available on Anchor. It should be available on all the other platforms, hopefully in a matter of days. I literally just started this. I had the first episode yesterday. And I'm going to be recording the second episode right after this, where we will rant about more stuff like my old friends that use TikTok to try to continue to be relevant even though they're not. So now they have to market to people 10 years younger than them because everybody our age doesn't care. This is how pedophiles are born, people. This is how pedophiles are born. Mark my words. Oh yeah, the news. Back to the news. Oh my god. Everything is coronavirus. Coronavirus. Let's try to end with one last news bit. Oh yeah, so in Tekashi 6ix9ine news, so he's out. They let him out. He's a free man. I don't know what he's gonna do, but he's going around saying I didn't snitch. I don't know why everyone's calling me a snitch. A snitch. I have no idea, dude, bro. I just listened to your documentary podcast, bro. You snitched on everyone. he was telling things that he didn't even have to tell, like shit that they weren't even asking about. Like, I guess they were asking about Jim Jones, but his life is crazy. This dude, Tekashi 6ix9ine, his story is insane. I highly suggest, if you have the time, I believe it's a 7-part series, 8-part series on Spotify called Infamous, the Tekashi 6ix9ine story. I'm gonna probably talk about it some more in the on the other podcast. But that's it for the news today. This is, like I said, the short news. This is how it's supposed to be. Obviously, it's going to be a little more put together, but now that we've laid the groundwork for what this is to be, I think it's a good direction. I'm excited, and I'm excited for you guys to explore this second podcast where we talk about all the other stuff. If I'm being real though, also part of the reason I'm doing this is because Buzzsprout only gives you a certain limit to how many hours you can record, how many hours you can upload per month. And I'm already almost at my limit for this month. I'm like halfway there. So, I'm realizing if I do all the bullshit that's not the news on a different podcast, where I can just post whenever I want, using Anchor for free, like that comes at no cost to me, and gives me more bandwidth, and gives me more time to talk, and hopefully reach out to more people that want useless garbage and not the news. So, without further ado, this has been the short news for Monday, April 13th, 2020. I'm Alex Mador. Head on over to www.shortnewspod for more on this show, and type in useless garbage on your Spotify app, or go to www.anchor.fm/uselessgarbage to continue the rest of this conversation on there. Thank you so much, guys. See you there.
It's really that time of year, and your team might finally do it. Or if you're a Rams fan, you might just want to book the trip now. This year, Super Bowl 56 is in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium, February 13th. You can scour resellers to buy an overpriced ticket closer to the day, or you can lock in the Super Bowl experience of a lifetime now with our friends at On Location. True 50-yard line seats, only available with On Location. An invite to celebrate on the field with the champs. On Location. Yes, you want to craft a perfect confetti angel like I did? Go to the game with On Location. And it's not just about gameplay. From dinner with NFL legend Marcus Allen to pre-game parties featuring acoustic sets for Wyclef, the official hospitality partner of the NFL is offering the most exclusive ticket packages available. Want to know how? Visit onlocation.exp.com/SB56 or search Super Bowl On Location. That's right. Search Super Bowl On Location. Make the trip of a lifetime. It's your shot. Take it.